Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and today I welcome you to yet another Fire Emblem Fates character spotlight. This next character has been requested a lot, and I can think of at least two good reasons why. The time has come to bust out this juicy spotlight of the boobalicious gold-digging fighter, Charlotte.
Thanks for inviting me over. Now, where do you keep all the loot in here?
Charlotte is a young woman hailing from Nor. She was born in the capital of Windmire and grew up in an extremely poor family. While Charlotte's childhood was extremely rough due to her family having almost no money, she at least had a good relationship with her parents. When she grew older, she took up work as a royal guard in the Norium Palace. Afraid of ending up back into poverty, however, Charlotte decided that she needed to marry a wealthy husband to ensure the future of herself and her family. However, she did not think that any man would fall for her brutish and foul-mouthed way of behaving, so she adopted a fake persona, acting innocent and frail to be more appealing to the men around her. This backfired, however, as her superior noticed her weak composure and thus deemed her too fragile to be a royal guard, and thus she was demoted to being a border guard instead. Despite her lower pay in her new line of work, Charlotte would send some of her earnings home to her poor family to help them out. She also got to know Benny, a knight from Nor, who was assigned as her partner on patrol duty, and the two of them became friends. Unlike around other men, Charlotte would actually behave normally around Benny, showing him a side of herself very few others got to see. Charlotte would later end up joining Corrin's army with the motivation of using his influence with the Norian royal family to get her job as a royal guard back. Charlotte is a young, attractive woman somewhere in her late teens. She has an extremely curvy figure with wide hips, thick thighs, and perhaps most notably, extremely large breasts. She has light blue eyes and long, curly golden blonde hair that goes down to her hips. Her attire leaves extremely little to the imagination, showing a ridiculous amount of cleavage and skin, while barely covering the essential body parts. Many would probably consider Charlotte's attire blatant fanservice, but her appearance, unlike many other females in this game, actually makes a ton of sense. Seeing as her plan is to attract the attention of rich noblemen, it makes perfect sense that she would walk around dressed in an extremely provocative way, though why she would choose to fight in this attire is another thing entirely. Charlotte's personality is that of someone trying to hide their true self to appear more likable to others. On the inside, she is brutish, foul-mouthed, and very unladylike. She is physically strong and also very violent. Due to her growing up in poverty, Charlotte believes that the only way to succeed is to marry someone rich that can provide for her and her family. She therefore acts in such a way she believes makes men the most likely to fall for her, and in her mind, this is done by behaving weak, frail, flirtatious, and gullible. In most of her support conversations with other men, she is seen trying to win over their affections in one way or another by acting overly seductive, though in nearly every single conversation, the man ends up seeing through her ruse and unmasking her for what she truly is. In almost all of her support conversations, Charlotte ends up learning the valuable lesson that just being herself is more than enough to win a man's affection. I guess the moral of the story here is that if you are a blonde, blue-eyed, insanely attractive woman with enormous tits, you do not need to fake your personality to make men like you. There you go, girls, a valuable lesson brought to you by the writing team of Fates.
I'm really enjoying your company. I feel like I can be myself around you.
Charlotte joins your party in Chapter 13 of Conquest and Chapter 14 of Revelations. She is the very definition of a glass cannon. She hits hard and fast, but her durability is absolutely awful, probably stemming from the fact that she pretty much fights in a bikini. As a token glass cannon, all of Charlotte's offensive stats are really high. Her strength and speed in particular are very solid, and even her skill and luck is above average. Charlotte's defense and resistance, however, are extremely poor, and while she will have a large pool of hit points from being a fighter, that health bar will quickly start to deteriorate on the front lines if she takes repeated attacks. Charlotte is therefore a unit that doesn't rely on her defense, but rather on her avoidance to survive, so until her speed and luck starts growing to a certain point where she can reasonably evade attacks, she needs to be used with extreme caution, or there will not be much left of her by the time she gets there. If she is to stay on the front lines, she will need to rely heavily on supports, pair-ups, defensive terrain, and of course utilizing the weapon triangle to keep her avoidance high. And of course you need to keep her far away from enemy magic users. Charlotte's personal skill, Unmask, is a very interesting skill that gives her an advantage against other female units. Sadly for Charlotte, enemy females are very scarce in this game compared to their male counterparts, but they are present from time to time, so be on the lookout for those female map sprites wherever they pop up. There will also be the occasional female boss, so keep an eye out for that as well, but most of the time, this skill sadly won't do much. When Unmask does factor in, however, it factors in big. 20% crit and 4 damage is absolutely massive for a single skill, and combined with other critical modifiers, Charlotte will absolutely decimate other female units. Having terrible survivability, Charlotte relies heavily on pair-ups, in particular the defensive stance, to stay alive. It is worth mentioning that her partner, Benny, can work wonders together with her, as pairing up with him will grant her precious defense, as well as the ever-important shield gauge, not to mention protection against those deadly dual strikes. Benny's personal skill, Fierce Mayan, which passively reduces the hit rate of all nearby enemies, also helps out Charlotte's avoidance a lot, so keep this in mind. There are a few weapons that will make Charlotte a lot better at doing her job. The first is a bronze axe, with its 80% accuracy. It will enable Charlotte to land those tricky finishing blows with greater certainty. Of course, if you could get your hands on one of the more gimmicky axes, such as the Carp Streamer with its 95% accuracy, they will also serve her fantastically as well, as her high strength should be enough to help her finish off weakened enemies. Another weapon that she should absolutely get is a dual club, which can make her go up against sword users with little trouble. Both are easy to come by, so be on the lookout for them and trade them over as soon as she joins your team. It might be tempting to give Charlotte a Draco Shield or a Talisman to help out her meager defense and resistance stats, but I would absolutely recommend against this. Her defense and resistance sucks, and they pretty much won't go anywhere on their own. Giving them a +2 bonus won't really help her out that much, unless you give her like 3 or 4 of them. I'd much rather give her a pair of Speed Wings or a Goddess Icon to help out her avoidance out further, as that is what she will primarily rely on when she's out fighting on the front lines. Being a fighter, Charlotte comes equipped with a Gamble skill. Until she reaches a point where she can reliably hit most enemies though, I recommend you unequip this skill, because 10% accuracy is worth a lot more than 10% crit in the mid-game. Charlotte can promote to either a hero or a berserker, and trust me, berserker is the perfect class for her. She's going to be squishy no matter what, so you might as well focus on her damage output, something the berserker is made for. She will enjoy the passive 20% crit rates and the ability to reach S rank in axes, as well as the rally strength and axe fair skills. If you can get your hands on a great club, these bonuses combined with her personal skill can make her crit rate reach the triple digits, which is quite hilarious to see. Hero isn't a poor choice either. She gets better defensive promotional gains, not to mention Sol, which can help her survivability out a lot, and she also gets Axebreaker, which can make her life on the front lines a little easier, but for the most part, Berserker is the way to go, trust me. If you are on the lookout for other skills to boost Charlotte's usefulness via castle battles or true friendship and partner skills, I'd recommend skills that help boost her already effective damage output. Skills like Aggressor, Deathblow, and Quick Draw are all skills that can make Charlotte even more effective at decimating her foes. After all, the best way to stay alive is sometimes to ensure that the enemy cannot even perform a counterattack. For this reason, Vantage is also a great skill for her to pick up, since her crit rate is so high, she can easily finish off a full health enemy if she procs Vantage and then crits. Using a Heart Seal, Charlotte can class change into a Troubadour. This is absolutely horrendous, and I have no idea why anyone would consider this useful. Charlotte's appalling magic growth will make her crap at using staves, and her personal skill won't help her until she promotes to either a maid or a strategist. Both classes that really don't serve her well at all. This is an absolute waste of a heart seal. Don't do it. At the end of the day, Charlotte is a killing machine. But with tits made of glass, this machine can easily malfunction and end up killing itself in the process. Take good care of this busty babe, and she will hopefully serve you well.
I don't know why, but I get excited every time you invite me over. I did think there would be more golden things around, though.
Thank you for watching this character spotlight. If you want to watch more spotlights, you can click the link on the screen to visit my playlists, and there you will find all the previous spotlights I've done. If there is a specific character you'd like to see me cover in a future spotlight, let me know in the comment section below. If you found this particular spotlight entertaining, please give this video a like and a comment. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to be updated whenever I release future videos, you can subscribe. As always, my name has been Manx, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.